Bengals wide receiver Tee Higgins is the #1 free agent on a bunch of different lists, and you're going to see him mentioned as the top free agent this cycle. Well, what should the Bengals do with him? The latest on teams eyeing Tee Higgins, and there are multiple, what I've heard, and what the Bengals should do with the star wide receiver. Yes, I have thoughts on that, and not just what they should do, what they better do. It's tea time on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Hi again, everyone, and welcome in to CBT. I'm James Rapien of BengalsTalk.com. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. Check us out on audio. We're on iTunes. We're on Spotify. We are on Amazon. And when you go there on those audio platforms, do me a favor. Even though we haven't posted many episodes there yet, make sure you leave us a 5-star review. You can listen to Enter the Jungle there. You can listen to our videos there. There's going to be some audio only. Over the weekend, I had an audio only episode for you, about 10 minutes. So you can take CBT with you on the go. Make sure you check us out there as well. Hit that subscribe button. Today's video brought to you by BetUS, and it's time for a little tea. Let's talk about Tee Higgins. The Bengals star wide receiver is going to get a ton of interest if he hits free agency. A ton. A ton. And I'm going to tell you what I would do with him coming up in just a few minutes. But let's set the stage here. If you look at any of these free agent lists, and it's like, oh, the top 20 free agents, the top 15 free agents, the top 100 free agents, Tee Higgins is #1. He's #1 despite playing in 12 games this past year, despite all of the frustration that people have with, oh, he's always injured. Oh, my goodness. He's still #1, the #1 free agent. So sometimes you just got to say things out loud like, oh, well, the Bengals have the #1 free agent. Should they let T walk? And a lot of you are going to say yes, and I'm going to tell you why you're wrong coming up in just a few minutes. But before I do that, let's talk about some of the teams that are interested in Tee Higgins. And it starts on the Up and Adams show with Kay Adams. Davante Adams, of no relation, obviously the former All-Pro wide receiver, says that the Green Bay Packers are eyeing Tee Higgins, that they're thinking about Tee Higgins, that they're talking about Tee Higgins. They've been looking into Tee Higgins.
There's an idea that they need a wide receiver one.
Yeah, I heard they've been looking into Tee Higgins.
Yeah, I think Tee Higgins is probably staying with the Bengals, though.
Is that what you're thinking?
That's what Joe Burrow is saying.
T is more than deserving and is, in my mind, easily a #1. He can go to any team and be a #1. So it's
the Green Bay Packers. That would make a lot of sense. If I was Green Bay, I would be looking into Tee Higgins. He would be a true #1. They have a lot of #2s and 3s. I think they have a really high-end tight end, Tucker Kraft, someone the Bengals could have, should have, would have drafted, probably looking back at that 2023 draft. But regardless, Tee Higgins getting eyed by the Packers, and not just the Packers. Let me read you a clip here from Mike Vrabel, and I posted this at BengalsTalk.com. Mike Vrabel obviously was hired by the Patriots, and he's someone that is held in high regard as far as head coaches go in the NFL and head coaching circles. He was asked what they're looking for as an organization at wide receiver, and he said, quote, receivers that have great catch radius, that can create separation, that are good against contested catches, because when you're in the air, or because when you're contested and pass breakups go up in the air and then they get intercepted, right? And then that leads to turnovers, which changes field position and those things. And so there you go. I mean, I think it's pretty simple. Receivers that have great catch radius, that can create separation, that are good against contested catches. It's Tee Higgins. He's been awesome in contested catch situations, was great at it this past year. I think it was his best year at contested catch situations, at making catches through traffic, at playing big, at playing strong, physical, using his size, using his length, using his strong hands. Teams are going to want him. The Chargers would love to have Tee Higgins. The Titans would love to have Tee Higgins. The Jaguars would love to have Tee Higgins. Do I need to continue? Well, I'm going to continue and explain what the Bengals should do with Tee Higgins. Should they break the bank for him and pay him $30+ million because that's what he's going to get from these other teams? They're not going to have to. I'll explain why coming up next. Today's video is brought to you by BetUS. Please, please, please check out BetUS. Support our sponsor here. And if you use code YouTube150, you're going to get 150%, a 150% bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000. That's free money. It's free money that you can use on the national championship game. It's free money you can use on the NFL playoffs. They also have a casino. BetUS has a casino. So you can go to betus.com today. Use that code YouTube150 and have fun with the sports book. Have fun in the casino. Take advantage of everything they have to offer, which includes the fastest payouts in the industry. BetUS, it's so easy to navigate. The website is user-friendly, so don't delay. There's a reason we talk about it all the time. BetUS, go there. BetUS.com, code YouTube150. The Bengals will lose Tee Higgins if he gets to free agency. Tee Higgins should also never get to free agency. That is the expectation that I have going into this offseason. They can extend him at any time. They could sign him to an extension right now. They still have the franchise tag available. They also know, as we know now, that the Packers, Patriots, and a bunch of other teams are interested in his services. The Patriots have a quarterback on a rookie deal. You're telling me they wouldn't overspend on T to get him there? They'd probably pay him $33 million per year to get him to New England. Maybe they go to 34 to get him to New England. They have a quarterback on a rookie deal. They can do that. They can afford that. They can make that work. If I'm the Bengals, I never let that happen. I never let it get that far. I never let Tee Higgins get close to the market. Negotiate with T now. He's obviously represented by Jamar Chase's agent, Rocky Arsenault. That's a huge factor. You know what Joe Burrow has said about him. It's fair to say that T is a need.
T is a need, yes.
But to me, it's very simple. All you have to do is say it out loud. The Bengals have the number one free agent. He's 25 years old. They drafted him. They developed him. He had a career high 10 touchdowns in 12 games last year. Oh, so he gets nicked up. He still had a career high for touchdowns, 10 touchdowns. Still productive in 12 games and is a huge factor on this offense. When he wasn't out there against Pittsburgh in that season finale in that second half, did you not feel it? I felt it. Everyone felt it. Why create another hole on a team that has multiple holes when all you have to do is tag him? And the moment you tag him, he wants to be here, by the way. He switched agents for a reason. Joe Burrow is stomping his feet for a reason because they want to stay together. Tag him. You have plenty of space. Tag him if you don't get a deal done before that. And the tag is just over $26 million. And then say, T, we want to keep you with Jamar, with Joe. Let's work this out. We're going to offer you a 4-year contract for $100 million. Maybe he wants 4 for 104 to get to $26 million per. Fine. But that would be a reasonable deal. And he is not going to want to play on a 1-year deal anyway. He's not going to want to play on the tag again. But if you let him get to free agency, he's going to get his socks blown off by one of these other teams. So just don't do it. Just don't do it. And I know people are going to say, oh, well, you got to upgrade the defense or you got to do this, you got to do that. The Bengals are going to have $90 million in cap space when they move on from veterans that we'll talk about in a different video. They're going to have a ton of cap space. Okay? Tee Higgins is the 4th best player on the team. When you talk about the Bengals, I think they're 5 best players. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Trey Hendrickson, Tee Higgins, Orlando Brown Jr. Keep those guys. Got to work something out with Trey. You can still do that. Got to work something out with Jamar. He already has a really high cap hit this year, $22 million. So you could lower that cap hit, create space, and go that route. And so the expectation, not the hope, not the, oh man, this is what they should do. Yeah, I mean, those things are factual. But my expectation is for the Bengals to never let Tee Higgins get even 1 second of free agency. Not even get close to free agency. I'm sorry, T, but that's how it is. Now, I would be offering him the 4 for 104 today. You don't need to tag him. If you do tag him, make it clear that it's with the intent of signing him to a long-term deal and sign him to that long-term deal. He's 25. Sometimes you just got to say things out loud. 25-year-old, you drafted, developed. He's played at a high level, career high in touchdowns. Yes, he's had some injury issues. Number 1 receiver for a lot of teams, would get paid way more on the open market. And you have the money to pay him and upgrade your holes. Yeah, the weaknesses, the holes on your roster. So if you can do that, why would you let a good player go and create another void? You banking on Jermaine Burton? You banking on Charlie Jones? And I like Charlie a lot. I like Andre Iosivas a lot as probably your number 3. This idea that, oh, you sign Mike Gesicki or you do this or you do that. All unknowns. Tee Higgins is a known. And he's the number 1 free agent on the market. I would take him over Javon Holland, the safety from Miami, who's represented by David Mulligetta, and so the Bengals would never. But not happening anyway. Not happening anyway. So it should be tea time all the time in Cincinnati. That's my expectation. We'll see if they get it done. We're going to keep you informed all offseason long. Anytime anything happens, defensive coordinator, offensive line coach, any of these things happen, anything of these things break, Cincinnati Bengals Talk is the place to come. So hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Make sure you check out our sponsor, BetUS, and then also follow on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon. Leave us a 5-star review there as well. We're just not even a week into being an audio platform as well. So we're really trying to get the word out. Tell a Bengals fan and share the Cincinnati Bengals Talk brand with any and every one. For Andrew Fox-Miller, I'm James Rapien. Make sure you check out this week's episode of Enter the Jungle. By the way, we grade the 2024 Cincinnati Bengals, and there's been a lot of pushback on Andrew's grades and my grades, and I like it. I think you'll like it too. Until next time, thank you so much for watching and listening to Cincinnati Bengals Talk.